So you want to know the cost of living in Cincinnati, Ohio, compared to other Midwest cities to decide if Cincinnati is the right move for you. Today, we're going to cover the costs of living in Cincinnati, what factors into those costs, and how that compares to other nearby cities. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Angela Evans. If you want to know all about Cincinnati, Ohio and its surrounding suburbs, then make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. I'll be posting new videos every week, and that way you don't miss any important updates. So let's start off with what factors into the cost of living. The cost of living typically covers housing, transportation, healthcare, food, utilities, lifestyle purchases, and taxes. Depending on the data source you use, your results are going to vary slightly, but the theme is the same where Cincinnati falls when compared to the national average. Now, according to Numbeo.com, the estimated monthly cost for a family of 4 is right around $3,500 per month. The national average for this is about $4,200 per month. A single person is estimated to have monthly expenses around $1,000 per month, but this does exclude the housing. The national average is about $1,200 a month. The total cost of living for Columbus, Ohio, which is about 2 hours northeast of Cincinnati, shows that the cost of living in Cincinnati is about 15% lower, and the total cost of living in Cincinnati compared to Indianapolis, which is about 2 hours west of Cincinnati, is about 10% lower. Now, neither of these factor in the actual housing costs, but just all of your other costs. If you're moving to Cincinnati for the first time or moving back to Cincinnati, Numbeo.com can be a great tool to use to compare what you might expect the changes to be from various cities. Now, let's break down some of the costs of living in Cincinnati. Average rent. Depending on your location, average rent will be about $1,100 per month if you're outside of the city. The closer you get to the city, the more desired areas, you're going to be at about $1,750 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. So when it comes to buying a home, the location you choose might depend on where you're working, what school district you want to be in, or if you want to be close to certain amenities that Cincinnati has to offer. You can find out more about the cost of living in different suburbs of Cincinnati if you take a look at some of my other videos. If you're interested in places like Blue Ash or Wyoming, Green Township, Mason, Oakley, or Hyde Park, you can check out some of my videos, and I go into the median selling price for those houses in more detail. All right, so if you're moving from Chicago to Cincinnati, the cost of living is 27% lower in Cincinnati. This does not include your rent. The cost of living, including your rent, is 30% lower than Chicago. Restaurant prices are about 35% lower than Chicago. Grocery prices are about 30% lower. And this is a cool thing that I thought that I liked how it does. It says you would need around $5,300 in Cincinnati to maintain the same standard of life that you can have with $7,700 in Chicago. That is assuming that you're renting in both cities. So I thought that was kind of a cool feature. And then it goes down here and you can look at it like the restaurants. An inexpensive restaurant in Chicago is $25, in Cincinnati is $14. It goes through different things like that. Milk, for a gallon of milk in Chicago, it's $4. In Cincinnati, it's $3. So it goes through all kinds of different aspects here and shows you, how much different it is to live in the other city. So compared to Louisville, Kentucky, cost of living in Cincinnati is 11% lower without rent. And with rent, it's about 5% lower. Rent prices, though, are slightly higher than Louisville. And restaurant prices are about 18% lower. Grocery prices about 11% lower. So you would need about $5,400 in Cincinnati to maintain the same standard of life that you can have with $5,700 in Louisville. Another place, if you compare it to Cleveland, Ohio, the cost of living in Cincinnati is 15% lower than in Cleveland. Including your rent, it's about 7% lower. And although rent prices are higher here in Cincinnati, your restaurant prices are about 15% lower, grocery prices about 23% lower. So you would need about $5,300, almost $5,400 to maintain the same standard of life that you can have with $5,800 in Cleveland. So anyway, those are just a few examples I wanted to show you to see how you can kind of use that tool to help you determine the different costs of living. And it goes down, like I said, and it breaks down all these different prices, fruit, vegetables, beer, wine, transportation, utilities, fitness clubs, movies, childcare, clothing, all sorts of things. So the central business district is mostly this area right here around downtown Cincinnati. But when we are talking about, if you're living in the city of Cincinnati downtown, we're going to include areas like Over the Rhine and Mount Adams. That is right here. That is all kind of near and in that central business district of downtown Cincinnati. So everything in this is zip code 45202. So if you're living in the central business district, which includes, which for today's video, I'm going to include Mount Adams and Over the Rhine, we're looking at the zip code 45202. Right now, there are 41 single-family homes listed for sale. The median listing price is $889,000, which puts you at about $294 per square foot. In the last year, 59 single-family homes have sold, and the median selling price was $680,000, which puts you right around $280 per square foot. So if you're living east of Cincinnati in an area like Anderson Township, those zip codes are 45244, 45255, and 45230. Currently, there are 112 single-family homes listed for sale on the MLS. The median list price is about $475,000, which puts you right about $207 per square foot. In the last year, 475 single-family homes have sold in Anderson Township. The median selling price was $391,000, and that puts you right about $182 per square foot. If you're living on the western side of Cincinnati in an area like Delhi Township, Delhi currently has 64 homes listed for sale, and the median listing price is $264,000, which is about $170 per square foot. In the last year, 301 single-family homes have sold in Delhi Township. The median selling price was $250,000, which is about $158 per square foot. And then if you're looking to live north of the city, maybe in an area like Westchester Township, there are currently 103 single-family homes for sale in Westchester. The median list price is about $460,000, which is $180 per square foot. In the last year, 511 single-family homes have sold. The median selling price was $429,900, and that puts you right at about $172 per square foot. So the most expensive home that sold in the last year is this home in Indian Hill that sold for $5.8 million, almost 8-acre estate. According to the listing, this home has a grand hallway, which features architectural skylights and 2 staircases. Living spaces include the great room, media room, all seasons room, and morning room. The main kitchen is fully equipped with top-of-the-line appliances and an oversized island. The study has burled walnut beams, fireplace surround, and other custom details. The primary bedroom offers 3 walk-in closets, 2 bathrooms, and includes a sauna and steam shower. In a separate wing of the house, there are 3 bedrooms, each with a full bath. And then the lower level of this house has a wine cellar and lounge game area, a guest bedroom suite, and a gym, plus some unfinished spaces. Outside, you have an in-ground pool and a pool and guest house, and a beautifully landscaped yard and patio. As far as transportation goes, Cincinnati is more of a car culture, meaning that most people drive their own car to and from work or the activities that they go to. Because of that, Cincinnati does fall a little short compared to other Midwest cities who might have a better public transit system. At the time of this video, the average price for a gallon of gas is just over $3. For the electric car enthusiasts, we do have a Tesla and a Rivian dealership in Cincinnati, and there are multiple charging stations throughout the greater Cincinnati area. So even though we are more of a car culture, we do have a public transportation system, which is the Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority, or the Metro Bus, which is what most people in the Cincinnati area call it. Rates vary, but you can expect to pay $2 to $4 daily, depending on what service you choose. I have a friend that regularly uses the Metro Bus system, and while they sometimes have to walk a little bit to get to a bus stop that they need, some of her kids are free because they are under a certain age and they're not required to pay. But she did say that it's $2 daily when they've needed to use that. And unless you're going to use it every single day, it's just more affordable to pay the daily rate because the monthly prices can get a little expensive if you're only going to use it once or twice throughout the month. But if you're somebody that's going to use the bus every single day, then obviously a monthly pass is going to make more sense for you. If you're in the downtown area and looking for free transportation, Cincinnati does have a streetcar that offers free service that runs just throughout the downtown district. Healthcare. Healthcare costs can vary depending on the type of insurance plan that you have. Whether you have an employee-sponsored plan, a general marketplace plan, or have Medicaid or Medicare, Cincinnati has a number of healthcare providers and major hospitals locally. Some of the major ones are UC Medical Center, Tri-Health, which has Good Samaritan Hospital and Bethesda North hospitals, as well as some satellite emergency room branches. Cincinnati Children's Hospital, which is a nationally ranked hospital and continues to be a leader in pediatric care. Christ Hospital, Mercy Health, and in Northern Kentucky, you have St. Elizabeth. There are also various healthcare centers and clinics that will also offer payment on a sliding scale based on your income. Food. Cincinnati is home to Kroger, one of the largest retail chains in America, and they're actually headquartered here in Cincinnati. There are also other stores here like Aldi and Whole Foods, as well as Jungle Jim's, which has a huge variety of foods. And if you're looking for something a little different or something that traditional grocery stores don't carry, you can always check out Jungle Jim's. So for Cincinnati, according to Numbeo.com, at the time of this video, a gallon of milk is about $3, a loaf of bread is about $2.50, and eggs are about $2.69 for a dozen. If you treat yourself and eat out at a restaurant, a meal for two people at a mid-range restaurant is going to be right around $60. And for your upscale restaurants, the average dinner for two people is going to run you somewhere probably in the $150 to $250 range. Two personal favorites of mine are pretty much any of the Jeff Ruby's restaurants, but Carlo and Johnny, and then also Soto, which is located downtown. Utilities. The main energy service provider in Cincinnati is Duke Energy, and your gas and electric for an apartment or a smaller house that's about 1,000 square feet or less is going to run you about $130 per month. Obviously, as you increase in size, that's going to increase your total utility costs. Another thing to consider is that not all places in Cincinnati have a natural gas option. And with the winters getting colder, if you do not have a natural gas option, like I personally do not, you are heating on direct electric heat, unless you have a fireplace that you're using a wood burner and using that to help heat your home as well. But if you're not, you're going to be looking at some pretty high electric bills, especially during the winter months. We've seen electric bills in the $600 range during the winter months when it gets to, below freezing and closer to the zero temperatures. So that's just something that you want to consider when you're looking at a house. You want to know, how is it being heated? Is it natural gas or is it direct electric? Because that is going to impact your utility costs. And then for water, Cincinnati is primarily serviced by Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. The average bill for one resident living within the city is just under $40 a month. Now, keep in mind that doesn't cover your sewage costs, which are included in your total water bill. You can expect to pay about 3 times your water amount in your total bill because sewage is typically about 2/3 of the total bill. Another thing to consider when you're moving to Cincinnati and you're buying a house is that not all places have public sewer. If you live back a longer driveway, maybe you're going to have a different sewage treatment system, and that is something that gets inspected by the county, typically annually, and you'll have to maintenance and take care of that. So while your water bill may be a little lower than other houses that do have public sewer, you are going to have other expenses surrounding that sewage treatment system. I think to pump and service this system annually, you're looking at about $300 to $500, probably closer to the $500 range. And then you do have to pay, I believe it's about $65 at the time of this video, for the county to come out and do their annual inspection. If you do not pass the inspection because your system needs some sort of repair or maintenance, then you do have to pay for the county to come back out and re-inspect after you get whatever issue it is resolved. Cincinnati has tons of options for entertainment, from the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden to Kings Island Amusement Park to the professional sports teams, the Bengals, the Reds, FC Cincinnati. There's really no shortage. Plus, there's some really amazing parks throughout all of Cincinnati. So your entertainment costs can be as much or as little as you want them to be. There are definitely tons of free opportunities to do things within Cincinnati. For example, downtown in Washington Park, they have lots of free workout classes, live music, trivia, and more. You also have things like the Cincinnati Art Museum, several parks to enjoy, Fountain Square, Finley Market, all kinds of different things like that that you can do for free. Now, obviously, there are other things that you can do. The Airnoff has some amazing plays and shows that they offer. You can buy, zoo passes, Kings Island passes, museum passes. The Cincinnati Museum Center at Union Terminal is a really cool place as well. Also, usually, like the public library has lots of free events throughout the year, from story times to book clubs. Taxes. At the time of this video, the current local sales tax in Cincinnati is 7.8%. Depending on where you live in Cincinnati, your taxes are also going to vary slightly. Some areas do have an income tax. For example, the city of Cincinnati, if you live within the city limits, you have an income tax rate of 1.8%. And there are a few areas that don't actually have any income tax. So I'm not going to go into full detail on property taxes by location in this video, but if that's something that you're interested about, I will link to my property taxes video in the description box below, and you can check that out after this one. Overall, Cincinnati is below the national average for the cost of living. It provides a good mix of affordability and quality of life, making it an attractive option for many that are looking to move to the Midwest. Obviously, the cost of living can vary within Cincinnati based on what school district you're located in, the taxes in the specific neighborhood that you are living in, and whether or not you need public transportation. Things like that can make just your cost of living vary slightly. If you have any questions about the cost of living in Cincinnati and you want to dive a little deeper, you can go ahead and book a Zoom call using the link in the description box below. I'd love to hear from you and help you make a move here in Cincinnati. Thanks for watching today.